Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Welcome to you live from Abuja. We've got the Dr. Rilwanu Mohammed, Executive Secretary of FCT Health Primary Healthcare Board. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning, Nigerians.
Well, we just heard the senators deliberating on this matter and highlighting the cases that you have recorded. Could you then tell us, what is the current situation now?
As of today or yesterday, we have about 8 suspected cases of meningitis in FCT, and 6 deaths that occurs, 2 in Durmi and then 2 in Dokwa, the border of Niger and FCT. And that is the same area where we had an outbreak of the same folio virus outbreak in 2013. And because of that border, we are really careful about that. And even before the outbreak has occurred, we started planning to do the immunization because there were 16 cases and 16 deaths in Niger State. And we wanted to
16
confirm...
cases of what, meningitis or polio?
Death of meningitis cases in Niger State as of now, as of today.
Okay. 16
people died of meningitis in Niger State, and it's a border of FCT. So we have to be very careful, and our surveillance system were activated. And from there, we have to... There was a case, a 22-year-old that died. They couldn't take the proper and gold standard is to take the lumbar puncture and take the sample from the back and examine and confirm the diagnosis. But for that particular lady, they took her to teaching hospital, Gogolada from Suleja General Hospital. At the end of the day, they carried out autopsy. They couldn't take the sample because she died. Most of our cases came very late, and the lady died, and they did autopsy and confirmed that this lady has meningitis. But the gold standard is that it has to be CSM, and so that we know the type of the meningitis we are dealing with, whether it is A, B, C, or W135, and we can even know the typing as it is. Now that was what happened, and about 4 days ago, we had another 2 more cases in the Abaji area council of Abuja, and we were called upon to take out the sample. The the 2 children were unconscious. They are almost... This epidemic is a pattern that we saw between 1 year to 22 years. All the people that died, no one is above that, and this is catching up our children along that level. So when they took up the sample of the CSM and examined, they found out that they were not having meningitis. So 2 more cases suspected. Even yesterday we had another case. Our surveillance system has been activated.
Do you think that this meningitis outbreak, do you think it is, what's the word now? Do you think it is spiritual?
I don't think. I think we hold, as we are consultants, we are physicians, we hold a contrary view with our respected governor of Zamfara State. This thing has been happening in Nigeria for the last 25 years. We have an outbreak of meningitis in this country, and it occurs 3, 5 years interval. And the government, in its own wisdom, has been trying to carry out campaign 5 years. We carried one in 2013 all over the country. And the pattern for Nigeria is type A, serotype A. And Nigerian government are very careful about this. You know what they did? Last 4 months ago, they sent us additional 3 vaccines to be added on our routine immunization. One of them is meningitis A. And with the jacket, to carry out courtesy calls, visit to our local government chairman to inform the public about it. One of them is meningitis A. Second is human papilloma virus vaccine for cancer, for our women pox. They will start getting the vaccine next year. Cancer vaccine is coming next year. The federal government is planning that. The next one was rotavirus vaccine for diarrhea. Diarrhea vaccine is coming first quarter or second quarter of next year. And unfortunately, we now had a different strain of type C coming out as an outbreak. And it occurs only not in Nigeria, it occurs in other countries. I think all of them, are they also so bad?
Are you equipped to contain it?
In the other countries, yes,
no,
they are not.
In Nigeria, are you equipped to contain this C strain?
Yes, I think we are, because all the surveillance system has been activated. And the federal government, Center for Disease Control, WHO, UNICEF, let me tell you what happened in FCT. Immediately we heard about the outbreak of the virus. We started in epidemic response. We start with preparedness, response, and mitigations. Finally, you do you can do the rehabilitation. But the real response we started looking at where are our area of concern. We have the internally displaced person, about almost 65,000 in 20 camps, and some are mingling with the communities. We have the prison yard. So we started thinking, how do you vaccinate these people? We collected 70,000 doses of the vaccine. But unfortunately, it was type A. We vaccinated all the IDP camps. We today...
Just for type A?
That's the one that we have in the vaccine that we have in Nigeria, because we don't have type C before.
But
we have the remaining dose of vaccine that we did in 2013. We collected from National Primary Camp through the Executive Director of National Primary. He gave us.
But you still don't believe it's a punishment for Nigeria?
I don't believe it is a punishment. It is the time. Look, the epidemic, Nigeria lies on the epidemic belt. This meningitis belt, which goes across Gambia and other countries to Eritrea. So this epidemic usually occurs between January and April. And this time around, we have a different strain. And the different strain doesn't start from Nigeria. It starts from the African countries like Niger, Cameroon, before it arrives in Nigeria.
So
our own was A.
So, okay, since ours was
A. So it is not for any rap from God. It is actually an outbreak that occurred in January.
It's a medical issue.
Yes.
So, since ours was A,
yeah.
And you said, we had a lot of vaccines for type A,
yeah.
And what we now see is type C.
Type C, yes.
And it's rapidly spreading. So, what do you think went wrong? We're on the belt of it. Did we not see this coming? Had we seen it and requested? What went wrong?
The organism is very careful about it. In meningitis, we have type A, B, C, D, and W, 1, 3, 5, and S and Y. When they now saw that you're having a population immunity, we have vaccinated the children between 1 to 29 years. For the past almost 25 years, we're doing that. And the government are doing that very meticulously. And even the state government, the WHO, said, well, helping in this matter. But unfortunately, the organism want to change so that it survive. It changed to now, okay, let's come back to another typing. So that
it's able to mutate?
It mutates to type C. The type C that was coming sporadically is now coming and full-blown. Started killing people, and we don't have the vaccine on ground. The only two countries that produce this vaccine is India and Indonesia. In the whole world. So, and there are a lot of demand for now, because it's not only Nigeria that's having the outbreak, other African countries. So now the government have done well in getting the 500,000 doses now to start with. We collected 5,000 from the National Primary Care Development Agency. But this one contains type A and C. It's not only C, and it's not only A, because we are still battling to kick out A out of this country, and C came up. So we don't want to take chances and collect only type C vaccine, because C vaccine was coming as an outbreak.
Like a single dose has both...
the one that they brought for the country now, the 500,000 donated by WHO, was A and C.
If I was going to take that one,
yes.
I'd just take only one, not two, as in A and C, but just one shot, and I have A and C inside.
It's a joint thing, A and C. It's a vaccine that's containing both A and C inside. So it's just one injection. One injection, man. And it's working very well. They actually asked us to keep the vaccine until we are still doing surveillance. Even yesterday, about 3 cases, we have taken the sample.
So far, because we saw here, the Abuja Inquiry reported that the case of meningitis rises in Abuja.
Yes.
How many people have been infected so far, and how many have lost their lives to this within Abuja?
I think we have only about 8 suspected cases, and then 6 deaths as of today.
We have 6 deaths from meningitis.
Yes. But actually, we did not confirm the cases. They are all suspected cases. In meningitis, there are 3 categories. We have a confirmed case, we have a probable case, and a suspected case. Now, in our own case, we have not been able to take the sample of the CSM, but they all have the sign and symptoms of meningitis.
All 6 of them?
All the 6 of them have the sign and symptoms.
None has been confirmed?
None has been confirmed. No sample has been taken for. The only one that they didn't autopsy, which is not the gold standard. Autopsy is not gold standard. So none has been confirmed in FCT.
Okay,
but
so they are suspected cases.
They are all suspected cases.
Okay, but how do people know? We've talked about how it comes usually between January and
April.
Which is like the peak of the dry season,
of course.
And the hot season.
Yes.
We also know it happens in crowded conditions.
Yes.
But how do we know? What should people do to prevent meningitis? And how do you know if you have meningitis?
Yes, the most important thing is meningitis has 2 more cardinal signs that's away from any other disease. So only meningitis has that. Number 1 is neck pain and stiffness, is 1. Number 2, insensitivity to sun. If somebody is having meningitis, he doesn't like sun rays. So these are the 2. The remaining, fever, headache, loss of consciousness, vomiting and diarrhea, are all malaria and other things can cause it. But these 2 cardinal signs, if you see anybody having neck pain and stiffness, because in bacterial meningitis or viral meningitis or fungal meningitis, it tends to affect the covering of the brain and the spinal cord. So it causes neck stiffness. That's one.
How do you
and
know that kind of neck stiffness? Because sometimes you wake up from bed and maybe you placed your head wrongly on the pillow. Your neck feels funny.
No, actually, the way you know it is that
you
start having fever, there will be fever and there will be headache. So you start having neck pain, then you avoid coming out to the sun because it will be hitting on your skin. More than any other person. So you will now realize that you are really dealing with a different thing. It's meningitis.
You know, the reason why this is a little scary and confusing is because people have headache every time. They have stiff neck several times. They've got fever, coughing, sneezing. Some of the symptoms are general symptoms that people usually don't take that seriously. But now you say, if you see all of this, especially at this period, you need to raise an alarm.
Now, our concern is that Nigerians are very phony. When they are sick, they seek other places. They don't go to medical facilities. They go to chemists, they go to babalawos, they go to prayer houses. And same medication is a real problem at this time. When people have fever, they go and collect one single dose or one single dose of drugs. And that creates resistance. That creates problem for this country. We started with anti-malaria. The first line of drug for anti-malaria is chloroquine. The second line is Fansida. But now, because of this kind of thing, indiscriminate use, and they will know these drugs without actually making diagnosis. Now, I want to appeal to Nigerians that if you have fever now, don't take it as only fever. Make sure that you make diagnosis. Go to the clinic and somebody should take, and then make sure that the blood has been taken and examined. Look at the two cases I told you that we were invited, that two children lost consciousness, and immediately were invited. We took the blood sample, we found the CSM sample from the lumbar puncture, and found out that it was negative, and they recovered immediately with treatment of cerebral malaria. So unconsciousness is one of the signs of meningitis. The one that yesterday they called me on the phone by Dr. Ajibola, one of the private clinics in Kuje. They started, because we didn't go early, I sent people to go there. When they said they started treatment, I said, take the sample.